What's up, everybody? Welcome to ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. Scott, I was like mid-swallow there, buddy. I got caught up.
Almost lost you.
I was gone. I'm back. But you guys can always join us as we talk about the hottest topics in gaming news over at twitch.tv/theofficialitg, as well as YouTube at Inside the Game Official. If you can't join us live, hit us up later. InsideTheGame.ca, podcast services, and TV streaming networks around the globe. Scott, we got a hot one today. There's all kinds of things going on in the world of Activision. Once again, Geoff Keighley says no to Activision Blizzard. Is Halo getting a multiplayer Battle Royale? And Call of Duty Warzone devs walk. That's not good. Not good.
No. There's some messes going on.
There's a lot of messes going on. But let's get started with Geoff Keighley, because Activision Blizzard will not be a part of the Game Awards, according to Geoff Keighley. This comes from Jody over at PC Gamer. Annual festival of trailers and also some trophies. The Game Awards is just days away. And host Geoff Keighley has announced that beyond its nominations, Activision Blizzard won't be involved. The Game Awards are a time of celebration for this industry, he wrote on Twitter. The biggest form of entertainment in the world. There is no place for abuse, harassment, or predatory practices in any company or any community. I also realize we have a big platform which can accelerate and inspire change. We are committed to that, but we all need to work together to build a better and more inclusive environment so everyone feels safe to build the world's best games, end quote. Since California Department of Fair Employment and Housing filed a lawsuit against Activision Blizzard alleging discrimination and sexual harassment in the workplace back in July. Scott, we've been covering this since July.
It's been so long. Man. I almost thought it was further back than that, just because of the number of times it's kind of come back around.
Yeah.
Bobby Kotick makes a comment out of his driver's side window, and all of a sudden it's back out again.
Well, that's just it. Because if you don't know, Bobby Kotick told his assistant he was going to kill her. Who does that?
Oh my god. Yeah. I don't remember that part. That's one I must have missed.
So allegations like Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick telling an assistant he was going to have her killed have raised questions about whether it's appropriate to promote the company during a celebration of what's best about games. In an interview with the Washington Post, before this statement, Keighley was asked about Activision Blizzard's involvement with the Game Awards. Quote, "We want to support employees and developers," end quote, he said, and, quote, "We have to think very carefully about how to proceed here," end quote. While there are 6 major games scheduled for reveals, Keighley confirmed that neither Diablo 4 nor Overwatch 2 will be shown during this year's awards. Traditionally, Blizzard saves big announcements about its games for BlizzCon, but Activision has shown off its games during the previous Game Awards last year and trailers for the first season of Call of Duty Warzone. Scott, how do you think... Let's hold up for a second, because Call of Duty is up for nominations, dude. Like, they're still a part of it. It's such a... Man, this is a touchy subject.
It really is. And there's kind of almost no good way to handle it from the outside, because excluding them from the games, that makes sense. The Game Awards is its own thing. They can, of course, choose who they want to support and who they don't.
Yeah.
But I see it as an unfortunate situation, because all of these people, especially under duress, produced a game that's still nominated to be Game of the Year. I feel it's kind of wrong to rob them of that.
Absolutely. No, I totally...
I almost believe you should just let the votes decide, because it's all out there. Everybody knows what's going on.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, that's what I mean. Like, dude, it's a touchy subject. Northern Nerdcast hit us up over at twitch.tv/theofficialitg and says it never should have gotten this far. Bobby Kotick, he should be fired. Dude, absolutely. The guy needs to be let go at this point. I talked about it before, how I feel that this company needs to be rebuilt from the top down, I think. Right? It's some of the employees are just not supposed to be there anymore. In my eyes, they need to get let go. But there's like big gold safety net for Bobby up there by the looks of things. So we'll see what happens. But for Geoff to come out and say there's no involvement, they are nominated, which granted, Scott, like you say, right? Those are been a lot of people working on those games for a long time, and they're, they deserve something in reward, right? If it's a good game, the thing is, if it's a quality game made by good people, then they should be rewarded for that in some form or another. It just happens to be that the top tiers are not exactly what everybody stands for. So that's the issue where everything lies. Like, you don't threaten somebody. Man, oh man.
No, I can't even make the joke I want to make.
Yeah, no.
It's too serious of a topic.
Let's just move on to Halo, because that's much better. Because this got some secrets going on, Scott, over in the world of PC. The secret modes include Tactical Slayer, Ranked Elimination, and an all-new Attrition.
Attrition. Ooh. I haven't heard a name like that since Titanfall. And that has me excited.
Exactly. This comes from Jared Moore over at IGN. Halo's Infinite's multiplayer mode has some hidden modes on PC, which seem only to be accessible if you boot up the game in offline mode. As spotted by Reddit user Wicked Soldier 991. Should be 117, just saying. Halo Infinite appears to include 14 additional multiplayer game modes as yet unavailable in the main online game, including unreleased Arena, Festiva, the new Festival ones as well, Ranked, and Tactical mode. Players aren't typically able to access the hidden modes unless they launch the game in offline mode. However, as Wicked Soldier 991 points out, that once discovered, each of the modes can then be saved so that you can access them yourself when online at a later point. As standard, Infinite's multiplayer mode currently has 17 different playable modes, including the likes of Slayer, Oddball, and Capture the Flag, one of my favorites, Scott. As well as bringing the total up to 31 different multiplayer picks. The secret additional modes include some brand new ways to play as well, which is pretty cool. And there's rumors of a Battle Royale in the mix.
Oh man, I don't know how to handle that. If I called that like 2 years ago.
Dude, we all knew it was coming. How do you not put a Battle Royale in, especially in this kind of game, right? In Halo? Don't you think that fits?
I think it fits perfectly. I thought it was a great idea when I came up with it originally. I thought.
So here's the thing. We just reviewed Steve Vagvari and I just reviewed. I had to think of his last name because it's a little bit of a tricky one. It was funny because I was talking to him. He says, "Man, like everybody just butchers my last name." I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to my world."
I like that you put it to him. You're like, "Can you introduce yourself, please?"
Well, I said to him, "Dude, how do you say your last name so I don't screw it up?" You know me and Nate, Scott. I'm awful. So I asked Steve, but him and I just reviewed the Halo Infinite campaign. Go to our website, insidethegame.ca, where you can check that out. But in the world of Halo, over on Zeta, the map is massive and it's got a lot of vertical scale to it, right? So this whole grapple shot now that they've implemented has a big turnaround and a good mechanic within the game to allow you to traverse some of these other parts of the world. And to bring that, I wonder if we're getting a whole separate map, or are we going to get Zeta, the Halo Zeta, on for Battle Royale? Like, dude, I'm pretty
sure
excited.
I'm sure it would just be a section out of the main game, because that would save a lot of time, and they know it's already been crafted. I'm sure you'd have to balance it for different spawns or whatever, but
sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea. I'm thinking more about Halo, which I suppose the online is already out now, but we're a day away from the release, and I'm thinking, oh, what crazy stuff am I going to find in there? But I have not probed your experience yet. So I'm hoping for a non-spoiler thing. But if I hear Titan inbound, I'm going to lose my mind.
No, that's not how that's going to work. No Titans in there. Yeah, spoiler. No, we don't spoil anything here on the show. That's not what we do. But yeah, it's definitely go check out my review. Mine and Steve's. It was a good time. Good conversation. I liked it. Dude, let's move. I'm so sorry, Scott. Call of Duty Warzone devs stage walkout over layoffs. We're back once again. We did not make it very far, did we? Activision QA staff and other developers protest surprise cuts at Raven Software. This comes from Ethan over at Kotaku. Quality assurance testers and other developers at Raven Software, the Activision studio in charge of the extremely lucrative free-to-play Battle Royale Call of Duty Warzone, are walking out on the job yesterday to protest surprise layoffs that were foisted in on staff beginning on last Friday. And as of right now, I saw an article this morning, they're in day 2 of that walkout. They did not stick around. The group told Kotaku in a statement it has only one demand: give all QA testers, including those just laid off, full-time positions. Quote, those participating in the demonstration do so with the continued success of the studio at the forefront of their mind, end quote. The group wrote, quote, the Raven QA department is essential to the day-to-day functioning of the studio as a whole. Terminating the contracts of high-performing testers in a time of consistent work and profit puts the health of the studio at risk, end quote. Activision Blizzard did not immediately respond to a request from Kotaku. However, quote, Activision Publishing is growing its overall investment in its development and operations resources, end quote, a spokesperson told Kotaku in an email. Quote, we are converting approximately 500 temporary workers to full-time employees in the coming months. Unfortunately, as part of the change, we also have notified 20 temporary workers across studios that their contracts would not be extended, end quote. Scott, the way the industry used to work was that you would get a job, you would work on that game, and then when the game was done, you would get laid off, and then you find another studio.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's a little bit different because they have like an in-house quality assurance kind of department.
Yeah.
So I guess they've sort of worked away from that model already. But to go with 500 staff moving on to full-time position, that seems like
a good thing?
Quite a big demand.
Absolutely.
Not that it's unnecessary or that it, not judging the decision to ask for that. It's just that's a big ask. And I'm sure they've cut some people off. They've laid off a lot already. I'm curious to see how many people that includes, because
yes,
especially if you're going to fund, say 500 people's full-time job, there's going to be a cut somewhere, and that's going to be somebody else, unfortunately.
No, absolutely. Management in the Wisconsin-based studio informed QA staff at the end of last week that they would have meetings starting over the next month to decide which employees would get converted to full-time with raises and which ones would be laid off. As part of the first wave of meetings, 30% of Raven's QA team saw their contracts terminated, effective January 28th, while others await news for their fate as they head into the holiday season. Happy holidays. Hey, here you go. You're laid off.
Yeah, what a time for this. But I've seen some, now I'm not sure if it's 100% official of a leak, but I've seen some people talking about this process of these meetings, and that it's just a very large Zoom meeting that everybody kind of gets on, and there's a few of those where they just went, well, you've all gotten the wrong, like you've all drawn the short straw if you're in this meeting right now.
Whoa.
Like I get that what they're doing is not something of a sensitive nature, but it's what a way to.
That's not, man. I don't think that's cool. Let's haul everybody in. Hey, by the way, all of you's here. You're fired.
Yeah.
Like, really? That's personal. That's the last, man. I don't know. The more we get into it, Scott, with Activision, the more hot water kind of keeps coming up with those guys. Hopefully they can figure stuff out. But again, it starts at the top, work its way down, man. Like, you gotta, that place needs to get refreshed. If you are in the games industry right now as a developer and you're looking for a company to work at, I think Activision is probably your last place you're looking at right now. You're probably better off to do an indie thing and do it yourself. You know what I mean? Like, go work on your own game or something instead of trying to figure it out with Activision, which is unfortunate because they used to be like the place to go. Dude, putting Activision Blizzard on your resume was a highlight, right?
Yeah.
Over the past year, like that's what we said. We've been talking about this since July. And it hasn't really been that cool to be talking about this all this time. It's a little unfortunate. But here's some good news, Scott. Horizon Forbidden West. Outsmart your enemies. This comes from Bo. She's a community lead over at Gorilla. This was over on the PlayStation blog. You can go check out this whole article because I did not use it all because there's a ton of stuff going on, man. Wow. They talk about the combat evolved For the team at Guerrilla, one of the goals for Horizon Forbidden West was to significantly evolve the combat design from Horizon Zero Dawn and to continue to build on the principles of player freedom and choice during encounters in the open world. Quote, Aloy is a smart and agile combatant. This comes from Charles. He is the combat designer. Quote, in Horizon Forbidden West, the tools at her disposal generate a wide array of tactics that allow her to engage with physically stronger opponents, from fully armored humans to very large machines, end quote. Our changes to combat design stayed true to Aloy's identity. First, we wanted to add additional depth to gameplay and increase the skill cap for players. Through skills like melee combos and valor surges, players who spend some time perfecting these combat skills will find some efficient and stylish ways to dispose of their enemies. Second, we wanted to cater to a variety of playstyles and really focus on freedom of choice. Dude, the more I read into this thing, there's a huge emphasis on stealth. And I like it.
Yeah, no, that's something that I like when it's emphasized, for sure.
Absolutely. Through new weapons and outfits, which can be upgraded at a workbench, players can adapt their tactics. Finally, we wanted to design challenging enemies that encounter players to use all of their abilities and skills. A whole new set of machines, as well as advanced human enemies, will keep players on their toes throughout the game. Now, that's just like a small little snippet of this whole entire article. I do encourage you to go check it out. It is really in-depth, and the amount they're going to change from Zero Dawn into Forbidden West, I think is really, really cool. I think they're making the right steps. They also have a huge emphasis on underwater mechanic right now, Scott. And I get claustrophobic some way by going underwater.
I'm hoping that's going to be a good addition, but I have the same kind of worry as you do, because Monster Hunter at a certain point added a bunch of water combat. Now you're hunting water monsters, and it kind of, the biological equivalent of these machines.
Yeah.
But underwater kind of really reduced your mobility, a lot of the things you could do. It was, it changed it up quite a bit. So I'm a little fearful of it's that water temple in Ocarina that really got me 20 years ago, and now I worry about water levels since.
Oh, and I never liked the water levels all the way back from Mario, so I just I
That's
can't.
The other one.
Right?
If it wasn't Mario, it was Zelda that got you.
I couldn't do it, man. I'm not a big fan. Right now I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The minute you hit the water, sharks are there, and it's just like, oh, get me out of here. I can't. You lose the momentum to move around, and it really cuts your movement really in half. So I struggle a lot. So yeah, Scott, how do you feel with the drop? We seem to be getting a lot of drops right now for Horizon Forbidden West. Is this a good thing, or are we gonna get oversaturated by the time the game comes out? You're like, I already feel like I know everything.
That is interesting to consider. Yeah, because we have learned quite a lot. There's
absolutely
the different armors that you can craft to kind of fit your style. A lot of the emphasis is on that there's a freedom to it.
Yep.
So that's something that can't exactly be spoiled, luckily.
Sure.
But I feel like I do know a lot about this game so far, and I'm not sure how much there really is for them to let out in the next 2 months.
Well, that's just it, right? Like they keep dropping more and more and more, and I appreciate what they're doing, but at the same time, it's kind of like I'd rather go on media blackout now. I think wait for the game to drop and then get into it, because if you get too much, you kind of get oversaturated. It's kind of like what they did with Deathloop, right? The more they show, the more like, all right, can we just get the game already then? Like, it's got to be done if you keep showing this much content. Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of one of those things. It's just you're building the hype, but are they building too much and too soon? Right? Let's hold off for a little bit and let us build that anticipation for like 2 weeks prior, or maybe like 3 weeks prior to the drop of the game.
When the games hit gold and you start producing them, you're gonna start printing discs, then I think it's a great time for printing trailers and the like.
Discs. Who are trailers? Northern Nerdcast?
Rarely, but
print discs.
Yeah, we should all go back to cartridges. I agree.
That's right.
Nintendo had it right.
Hey, have you seen this thing about the Matrix going on lately? This is the Matrix Awakens Unreal Engine 5 experience coming to Xbox Series X, S, and PlayStation 5.
Oh, This is not familiar to me, no.
This is Samuel Tolbert over at Windows Central, an experience, not a game, detailing what's possible with the latest game development tools. The Matrix Awakens is an upcoming real-time tech demo experience, in quotes, designed using Unreal Engine 5, exclusive to next-gen consoles, Xbox Series X, S, and PS5. This experience is now available to pre-download, which is kind of weird. Developers by members of the film production crew, including director Lana, The Matrix Awakens is set to go live on December 9th. We're only 2 days out. During the Game Awards 2021, Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, who play Neo and Trinity in the Matrix films, are among the presenters at the Game Awards 2021. According to the store description for The Matrix Awakens, both actors are also part of the tech demo. I don't know, like, we really don't know what this is, besides the fact that we can check it out.
If he appears, Keanu that is, if he appears on stage, how many people do you think are going to yell?
You're
breathtaking.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's funny because I said that to somebody not too long ago, actually, because they were talking about Cyberpunk. Yeah, it was funny, but
no, I'm curious to see more about this. I really like the Unreal Engine use.
Yep.
In anything other than video games. We've seen it used in The Mandalorian, I believe, was Unreal 5. That could have been Unreal 4. But in any case, that inclusion into a film or a series is awesome to me. So I want to see how they can really stress that.
Sure.
And what do you think the content of this demo is going to be? Do you think it'll be that perfect scene of the cartwheeling from the first movie or something?
It's the bullet dodge, bullet time. It's funny because I was talking to Kyle last night about it. I said, man, like, what is this even going to be? We're just going to jump into a world and look around? Like, it's kind of one of those, yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure they got something cool up their sleeve. I would like to see, like, a full rendered Neo and kind of be able to kind of pan around and check out, you know, how cool does his hair look? And do you see the pores on his skin and all that kind of, you know what I mean?
What if they give you like a photo mode kind of thing to mess around with? Because that'd be a great way to look at the graphical quality to it.
Absolutely.
Really cool.
That would be very cool, actually. Scott, we're almost done for the day. Why don't we wrap things up? What games do we have coming out for today?
We have Final Fantasy XIV's Endwalker, and that is on the PlayStation 4, 5, the PC, and Mac systems. Don't see that one very often.
Nope.
We also have Gang Beasts making its way to the Switch. Heavenly Bodies has released on the PlayStation 4, 5, and PC.
Quick PSA on that one, Scott. Check out Nate's review. That is up over at InsideTheGame.ca. He actually, so it's funny, I got a text from him. He says, man, these ragdoll physics. Yeah, if you can handle the ragdoll, apparently you should check out this game. So go check out his review, InsideTheGame.ca, or check out YouTube at Inside the Game Official.
Now we have Life is Strange True Colors. That's on the Switch now.
You can check that one out too, Scott, over at InsideTheGame.ca. Nate and I actually really love that game. So if you don't have it yet, go check it out on the Switch.
I was going to say, if you can't tell, Drew might have liked it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
We have Spellforce 3 Reforced, and that is on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series S and X, and, sorry, my mistake, it is on PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One as well.
Yes.
Now, lastly,
White
Shadows is on the Xbox Series XS, the PlayStation 5, and PC.
That's not a bad list. Scott, you can check out Final Fantasy Endwalker.
I've been purposefully staying out of 14 just because it's so giant, it's so big. I know everybody loves it, but there's only 3 Final Fantasy games that I'm a really big fan of, so
what are they?
It's kind of hard to jump in there. I really like Crystal Chronicles, which doesn't even count. That's not I understand that's a reskinned game, but
okay.
I love it.
That's right.
6 has an amazing storyline. Bad guy, like a very believable bad guy. Kefka. Okay. And then 15 really got me. Several years ago, I played that one, and I love it. The boy band aesthetic for the characters, it's great. I love it.
Awesome. Well, Scott, that's going to wrap up today's show. Everybody, this has been ITG Daily, the show that brings you the hottest in gaming news. You can always join us live over on twitch.tv/theofficialitg, as well as Inside the Game Official on YouTube. Can't join us live? Hit us up later everywhere else around the world. I'm Drew. That's Scott. We'll see everybody tomorrow inside the game.